generally, the UK is bills, and most of these bills are monthly. So there's this constant chase of hey, you're paying bill next month again, you're paying bill next month, that kind of thing. Yeah. So you can't. I always say you can't be in this country and not work for at least 2 weeks in a month because yeah, because.
Welcome to the Sam and Ray podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to another episode of the Sam and Ray podcast. I can't believe it's episode 9 already. Something that we just started, just sitting on the floor and started recording like so unplanned. But here we are, and
Episode 9.
yeah, it's been really wonderful. So yeah, I hope you all had a great week. Today we are talking about living on a budget.
Yep.
Because yeah, if you are in the UK, managing your finances here, it's quite different. Not quite different. It's massively different from Africa, and we're basically gonna share our opinions and thoughts on how you can live on a budget to make sure you don't find yourself in a situation where
Yeah, so for me, I got to learn, about managing my money when I go into the UK, because back home, it wasn't much of a big deal. We're not really paying for a lot of stuff. Like rent, whatever utilities. We already had rent sorted because we're living with our parents. Moving into the UK, I became more independent, and so then I have to, kind of like sort all of that out. Kind of like learn more about management in terms of my money. So I have a friend in Ghana who is who like recently had a job offer in the UK, and he's planning to move to the UK. So he wanted to find out how living in the UK, budgeting, what a comfortable salary is in the UK. He wants to find out, like, from my experience, what it was. That was after he listened to like one of our episodes. I think that's the first episode. Yeah, so he gave me a call and I shared some details with him. But I also know that like a lot of people back home would like to know this kind of information.
yeah.
So I just thought we'd do an episode on it and
Yeah.
then
I mean,
share.
not just back home, even here for like newbies, new people here that, you're still trying to stand on your feet and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be a nice one.
So what do you think like an okay salary is to have here in the UK to be able to live like I wouldn't say too comfortably, but like just okay for you to like at least go day by day, go to work, come home, you have something to eat.
First of all, I would go with the minimum wage. The minimum wage was recently increased to, was it 11.4 something per hour? So if you are earning money here, like, make sure first of all you're earning at least the minimum wage, right? But regardless, if we're putting it in like from an annual perspective, I would say for starters between 30 to 35k. And this is not for a family of like 4, family of whatever.
Individual.
Yeah, individual. If it's merged, we can say maybe like, I don't know, 50, 60k or so. But let's say for this is
Like you mean between two.
yeah, between two people. Yeah, but from the perspective of like a single person, an individual, you want to just get by, I would say between 30 to 35k. 30k annually, with the current 2024 tax, national insurance and stuff, would get you about almost 2,100 per month. This is not including your pension. So when when you're working with a company, after I don't know 3 or 6 months or something, they will start taking pensions. But minus the pensions, you would get a take home of 2,093. If it's 35K, you get almost two thousand four
So
hundred
wait,
pounds.
that so you're saying 2,000 what
93
as your net
as your yeah
per month
yeah
or
per month.
per month?
Yeah, per month.
Yeah,
I mean, the
yeah.
gross is 2.5. So when they take out tax and national insurance, you get about 2001.
Yeah. It's good that you mentioned like minimum wage. That's the good thing about the UK. I think the UK by law is implemented that anywhere that you work, at least you get the minimum wage. Like I'm not sure there's any place that you work that in the UK that will be paying lower than the minimum wage.
There are, but let's not go
Really?
there. I mean, they could be like individual employers. I've seen somewhere where someone posted and said, "Oh, I'm looking for, say for example, a cleaner, and I'm willing to pay like £9 per hour." That one's a different whatever. But generally, I mean, employers
Okay,
that are
so
registered and
register.
yeah,
Yeah.
would definitely pay the minimum wage.
Yeah. That's the good thing about. I feel like it is about the
Yeah,
UK.
and which is
In
different from Africa,
In Africa, we don't implement. We have the laws there, but I
but
don't
they're
think.
not
Yeah,
followed.
people are paying way, 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 way below what. I
Yeah.
don't even know if we know what the minimum wage is in Africa, but like people are paid like way low.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to understand generally um the idea of setting a budget, or not necessarily setting a budget, but like knowing how to manage your finances, because coming from Africa, going to your point earlier, okay, from our own perspective, we never really paid rent, or we're probably living with our parents. And in addition to that, rent in Nigeria, for example, you pay annually. You don't pay monthly. There are some bills that you just don't pay. Okay, for example, coming here, you pay council tax if you're not a student. If you're working, you pay council tax. You pay national insurance,
Yeah.
which is like something even is completely new to me here. You pay your rent monthly. In fact, 99% of the bills you pay are monthly. Really, you pay your rent. You pay your a lot of people take out contracts for like their phone or their SIM or whatever. You pay that
Yeah.
monthly. You
The
have
utilities are a
your
lot.
you have your council tax. You have your Wi-Fi.
Your
As
Wi-Fi.
in this one, like 99% of people here have Wi-Fi, so you can't go to any home and they will have Wi-Fi. What else? I was gonna talk about another one.
Have you mentioned like sewage?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to go into. Yeah, sewage and water as well.
Yeah.
You pay. I mean, we pay water bill in Nigeria, but it is quite different here, Sha. You pay for your sewage as well. You pay. I think your disposing of your
Rubbish.
bins, your rubbish is included in council tax, I think. But like in Nigeria, we don't like pay. I don't think you pay council tax, but when you pay for like your rubbish, say monthly or something, you get your bill month. So, but generally, the UK is bills, 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 and most of these bills are monthly. So there is this constant chase of hey, you're paying bill next month again, you're paying bill next month, that kind of thing. Yeah. So you can't. I always say you can't be in this country and not work for at least 2 weeks in a month, because yeah, because
Oh, you get a rest.
where will you get like me like I always say, if I even want to travel or go and enjoy somewhere, I can't leave my house for maximum 2 weeks, because imagine the rent I'm paying. I'll now vacate the house and go somewhere and call.
I think that's the risk about living in the UK, because depending on what visa you are living in the UK with, you are only allowed to work. Even there are some visas like
Yes.
when I came as a student, you're only allowed to work a number of hours.
Yeah.
So if you go contrary to that, you're actually breaking the rules of your visa. Because let's say like you're supposed to work 20 hours. If you're working more than that, your your visa can be flagged or something, and then during like maybe your next application process, you have issues or something like that. So I feel like financial freedom is kind of like restricted to your
Yeah.
employers.
Yes.
So you can only work and be chasing money monthly here in the UK, depending on, like I said, depending on what visa you're on. So
So there are those restrictions as well, basically.
exactly. So when you come into the UK, there's a fear for having like a stable job
Yeah.
that you're doing, because if something happens and then maybe you get fired, or I don't know, redundancy, whatever it
You know,
is.
you're not getting like public funds, for example. So there's this panic of, oh, how am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna pay my bills and
Exactly.
stuff like that? So yeah.
And in the UK, your rent is like a third of,
Don't even let us
if
go there.
if you're earning like, let's say, the minimum wage, your rent is like a third of your salary.
A third, even more.
Yeah, a third,
Even more.
close to half.
Even more. So I think that should bring us to our next should I say question, or part of this topic about general um general concepts of budgeting. You know, we've always heard about the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% should be your bills, your rent, your expenses.
Okay.
Twenty
I don't know.
percent goes to your savings and in investment. So fifty
I've
percent of your income is used for your needs, 30% on your wants, and 20% to your savings. So let's say when you get your salary,
yeah.
maximum 50% should be like your bills, your and your rent,
Yeah.
things you need. You know that this one,
This one, yeah.
and then 30% like, oh, okay, I want to buy, I don't know, a carpet cleaner this month, or I want to, I don't know, go on a short trip to
Yeah.
somewhere. I mean, that won't happen every month, but basically, some things we are humans and we always want something, basically. So maybe there's something or you just want to go out for a fancy dinner at a nice restaurant or something. And then 20% goes towards your savings. And I also heard as well that you should try to always have your savings should always be able to cover, and this is like something you would see online as well. Your savings should be able to cover, it should be about 3 to 6 months of your expenses, your monthly expenses. So say for example, your monthly expenses is like 1,500 every month. So what you should have in your savings that your mind will be at rest,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
should be
like
at
constant.
least £4,500.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
that's
between
that's like your safety net.
yeah, your safety net, so between 4 5 to 9,000 quid, and then not like your mind be at rest too, because you are still chasing stuff, but that's like generally that's acceptable for you to know that,
Yeah.
yes, at least, so that if you lose your job, or if you are moving, or something that will just disrupt your monthly flow for a bit, you still have that safety net, and stuff.
I've listened to like a lot of financial advices, even though we both of us, we are not financial advisors.
Yes, disclaimer, please.
Yeah, we're just only sharing like our experience. But a lot of them have different like rules, like the 50-30-20 that you're talking about. So, but personally, I feel like just save as much as you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't 100% follow the 50-30-20 rule.
Oh,
I use
okay.
it as a guide.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably save more than the 20 as much as possible, but it's just a guide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is like income dependent. If your
Exactly.
income is a
So,
lot,
some people,
and
their income doesn't even allow them to save.
exactly, and
So,
some people their 20% is more than another person's 20%. You get what I'm
obviously,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah. So me, I try to like save as much as I can. Sometimes, and it's also dependent on the month and whatever
And what the
need,
month brings.
like whatever the month brings. Sometimes the month will even enter into my savings that I've already saved.
Sometimes you're already spending ahead of the month.
Exactly.
Like
So
you're
it's
already spending from next month
next month,
money.
but I feel like going to budgets, you should have some what would I call these, like arrangements, like you know, some financial arrangements that would help you save. So for me like this, I have some direct debits that would always take
Take
money
out
into my
money.
savings account.
Nice.
So even if, let's say, this month my budget is over my savings, it will still take money from my current into my savings account. So I'm constantly like saving something into my savings pot, and I think that's very good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
in terms of tracking expenses and stuff, because that part of budgeting is basically okay. So, me as an example, me personally, even before I came to this country, I always budgeted my money every month. I always budget. That's just me. I can't function. Maybe until I'm very rich, that I won't have to care. But for now, I have this habit of, say, by mid-month I'm already budgeting for the next month, because I can already foresee some expenses that are coming. Say for example I need to pay for something or renew something, whatever. So I usually start drafting that budget for the coming month. And another thing that can like help you is, if you, for example, if you use Monzo, Monzo has this really good feature where you can track your monthly expenses. You can set budget for the month. You can even set budgets for each category. So for, like, when you go to the shops and you buy something from like Asda, it will categorize that as groceries. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
if
it
you,
does that
yeah,
automatically itself.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
So,
I don't use Monzo, I use Revolut.
oh
But yeah,
yeah,
most of these applications, they are very, very
yeah.
smart
So it
about
can
it.
really help you to make sure that you are not spending more than
More than,
you've set
yeah.
for. I don't do category budgeting, but I usually put like a general budget for the month. So when you're, even Revolut does it, when you spend like 50% of your budget, it will alert you.
Yeah.
If you Revolut does one thing that annoys me.
That
Once you
late.
have less than 30 pounds in your account like
It should
this,
tell you.
Revolut will tell you, hey, come and put money before your transaction gets declined. Those people are ruthless.
To be announcing to people that are
Hey,
broke.
it's announcing to people that you're broke. Ah, God, Revolut has shown me shaggy. But yeah, and generally, like, this is just a very good thing that your financial apps can help you with. Another important thing that I would like to mention is, generally in this country, it's always, you always hear that you should have a credit, if you have credit cards. Be having credit basically is kind of encouraged, and it can sometimes be a blessing when you are really, really in dire need. You have something to turn to, you're not completely broke or whatever. Banks, like something like Monzo, you can get a credit card, where you can pay one off or monthly or whatever. And we have lots of credit cards out there, really. And I'm not saying, oh, be taking credit, because there are also in this country there are guides to everything, basically.
They are guides
So
because, like, talking about credit, I I've been in this country for 2+ years, but I'm still trying to understand what the credit system is, because we don't come from that.
that kind of
Yeah, that system is not provided
yes.
in Africa, or in some places in Africa. Let me see, in Ghana, from where I'm coming from. So we before you buy something in Ghana, you need to have the full money.
Yes,
And then,
complete, hundred
exactly.
percent.
Or if you are going to buy something on credit, it means that you're owing, the person. But even that, you only pay what you are owing. Do you understand? But here in the UK, the credit system, if you are not paying what you are owing by the provided period, interest is being added.
Yeah.
It can run you into like
Debt. Yeah.
huge amounts of debt, and I feel like before people should like coming from where we come from, before you
Yeah.
enter into that system, you need to try to understand what it is, understand
Yeah.
what advantages like it provides to you
Yeah.
before you get involved.
Yeah. I think generally a guide you would see is it shouldn't take more than 25% of your available credit. So if for example you have £1,000 worth of credit card, don't take more than 25% of it, because there is this thing where when you over rely on your credit card, it will get flagged in your credit score. And it's so credit score is another thing in the UK, right? And
Exactly.
this is something that it's
And
kind of it reflects your financial status. So if you want to maybe get a mortgage or car finance or whatever or what something,
Yes.
this is one thing that they usually check. And your credit score goes through different things like, are you on the electoral roll? Have you
Yeah.
been in your apartment for a certain number of months? Do you pay your monthly
Utilities.
whatever? Do you pay it or do you miss any payments?
Yeah.
Do you take out credit? So if you take like say 50% of your credit, it can bring your credit score down.
Yeah.
But if you stay within like 1 to like 25%, I would even say 20% safe, your credit would be like in an okay state basically. So
For me, I come from a point where I don't trust these financial companies, insurance companies, because trust me, whatever they are doing, whatever thing that they are offering you, whatever packages they are offering you,
there's some
is to their benefit.
Yeah, that's
Because
also
they know that, they have like, they're not offering it because they want to help you. They're offering you because they see some,
there will be some benefits.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you need to understand why they're offering you this. What ways is what they're offering you going to benefit
Yeah.
you?
Misha, I would say,
So it's a lot of education
yeah,
before. Well,
I would even say generally take a credit card to boost your credit score. But if you're using it, it's not something you are like, don't use it for, except in very, like, if it's definitely required, like you definitely need that money. Don't use it for something you can normally, something you cannot like afford, right? So don't use it to basically put yourself in debt.
debt,
Use
yeah.
it rather to build your credit score. So if, for example, you spend £300 on groceries per month, you can decide to use your credit card to be
To be paying all
purchasing,
those things,
that groceries, as long as it's within that 20 to 25%
things that you can easily
bandwidth.
pay
Yeah,
off.
and then at the end of the month, you pay it off rather than build up debt for yourself. And that would definitely boost your credit score because you are making purchases and you are paying it off, in good time. So yeah, that's one thing that's something I usually do. So now let's talk about what are some of those things that eats into people's money in this country. We've definitely talked about bills and rent, but what are some other like spending habits that Africans tend to have that eats into our money? So if I want to give an example, I'll say buying African food.
African food is expensive.
It's expensive. Oh.
If you want to eat like an African king in the UK,
You can, but you will spend.
it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. Buying goat meat, beef, those two things I've mentioned already is more than
Is there
30 pounds.
Yeah, no. Buying African food is definitely very expensive. The other day I was buying, is it 5 kg? I be how many kg of poundo? Hey, God, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the cost. But yeah,
Now Nigerians cost some now.
I beg.
You guys they chop pound with too much.
So anyway, yeah, that is definitely one thing that
And
it's
Gary.
into your finances. So I mean, me, I eat African food, so I cannot say don't buy African food, but find a way to like incorporate what they have here with what you would normally have back in your home country. For example, the other day I
You're saying that we
made.
should eat vegetables.
Oh no, chill. Let me give this example. The other day, I wanted to make vegetable soup, and instead of buying like your regular vegetable from African store, spinach. Spinach worked out fine. Sometimes you want to eat like yam and egg, but yam is expensive.
Expensive.
I think yam is even the thing that annoys me the most. Yam is expensive for something that
And they are so tiny.
Hey, the thing is tiny like my arm like this, and for something that if you keep it for long, the thing will even spoil.
So they are even spoiled already. Like,
Me, as an alternative, I actually eat potato more, and potatoes are way way cheaper than yam. So yeah, this is an example of me saying incorporating what they have here with what you would normally have. So find a way to just kind of reduce that. Okay, for example, say fish. There's one smoked fish like that I get from Lidl. Rather than buy full-fledged Titus fish, and I'll still get the same result. I'm not even a fish fan to start with, but I still get the same result. So yeah, basically trying to find ways to infuse both the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have any other thing on that?
I think one last point is about exploring some other or maximizing resources, basically. Like for example, if you're a student, say you might get discounts, certain discounts that you want to make sure you always explore. If you're using, say for example, Monzo, they sometimes have cashback offers. So if you pay for something with Monzo, you get like 15% cashback. If you're ordering something online, if you use a certain student code or whatever, you get some discount off. So try as much as possible to leverage all of these. Like my Asda, I have Lidl card and Asda, like the apps. So whenever I shop there, I always make sure I scan
Back then,
because
when we're watching movies and then you see somebody pull up to like a register, then they're having so many cards. I never used to understand until
why happy
like what's the
this place. Well, my Asda.
Currently in my wallet I have like minimum like 10 cards.
My Asda like this. I can build sometimes up to like £5. That £5 is something new.
Yeah.
When you go next time and you do shopping of £20, when you scan the £5 voucher off, the feeling is always so it's always so nice.
Yeah.
And it's literally is getting those cashback is literally just scanning the app, the barcode in the app, every time you shop. So you might as well get some money back while at it.
And
Boots
the next
as
time
well.
You just get whatever you want.
Yeah, and
So
Boots
simple
as
as
well
that.
is a very good one. Boots as well. The more when you also shop at Boots to buy your
A lot of these shops when you go, they have their own
they have
cards
and the
that
cards
you
are
give to
free.
you. Yeah,
The
free.
cards are even free. They'll tell you, oh, do you have a something card? Yes, no. They will want to give you,
I
So
remember I went shopping. What was that? I think it was TK Maxx or so. And then we were buying something, and then I saw on the wall that they had their card. If you have their card, or if you are signed up to their membership or something, you get 15%
percent
discount.
off.
So I was standing right in front of the girl, and then I signed up. Something that I was buying for, let's say like £50. I just signed up to the store's membership or whatever. I got my £50, £15 discount.
Wow. And even, Tesco does this as well, which I really
Yeah.
like. If you say you want to buy some snack and it's £2, they will now put that if you have the club card, it's like £1.15.
50, yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Previously, because I didn't really I don't really shop at Tesco a lot, so I was like, I don't really need their club card or something like that. But I realized that Bro, the club card is free.
Yeah, everything
Just
is
get it.
free. Like,
Even
you
if you
might
go
as
to
well.
if you get to Tesco once in a month, just get it.
Yeah, you might as well. Even McDonald's. I'm not encouraging people to go and be buying McDonald's every day, but McDonald's are. I love their own this thing too. They also do a points based system. The more you buy stuff, the more you accumulate points,
Yeah.
and those points like this base say 5 points could get you a certain number of things. £4,000 and 4,000 points could get you like a nice burger or something. So one day when you know you're broke, you just carry your thing and go and collect free burger. And
Exactly.
so yeah,
Sometimes, yeah, I understand that a lot of people are saying that, oh, maybe you're being cheap or it's free or
it's not being
something.
cheap. Oh.
But okay, as a developer, these companies on their system, they're actually using your data. So every time that you go and buy something there, that data means something to them. So they are, they are doing some business intelligence behind that data to make you keep coming to buy at their
Yeah,
shops.
yes.
Do you understand? So you are giving them something. That's why they want you to be on their system. So you being on their system, you are giving them data.
Yeah.
And that data, they are using it to build their business. And in return, they're giving you some discounts and some stuff for free. So it's a fair exchange. So
Yeah.
just take advantage
Yeah,
of it.
just take advantage.
Yeah.
Anyway, in conclusion, do you want to recap or share any key takeaways?
Yeah, so it's just important to be on top of your finances whilst you're living in the UK, because it will save you a lot of money. It is a culture that is inbuilt into the British people here, and even though as Africans we do not have that culture instilled in us,
Yeah.
when you come here you learn. That's why, like, a lot of people back home, they say, when you come to people in the UK, they are very stingy. Well, it's just the system.
It's the way the system. Like in Nigeria, you can't be broke and just call one friend and say, borrow me 2K, I beg, I go pay you by weekend. Do you get here? Who wants to borrow you?
Nobody, bro. It's a system, so
Because bills are chasing you monthly.
Exactly.
Like this is you, like this bills you are running.
Exactly. And like I said, depending on your situation, like your visa, your stay, whatever, you might not be in the best position to, come out.
Yeah, you most likely
this rat race.
Yeah, and most immigrants, when you come for at least for your first few years, you don't have access to public funds. So compared to like citizens here, that they can decide to go on a 2 month adventure and not work because
And the
they know
pressure.
they will get public funds and stuff.
Some people actually fall into some pressure because when you come here in the UK, you might see your fellow African who has lived here for like maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
They are driving in some
Oh,
nice car.
tell me about it.
Like, when you see them, you'll be like, oh, I want to buy my car. Like, maybe, let's say when you get your first job, I want to buy my car. I want to live in a nice apartment. I want to do this. But you forget that it's time.
It's time.
It takes time for you to get to that level.
Yes.
Because the way the system in the UK actually is built, they do not want anybody to be too rich.
Oh.
That's why they are. Can you imagine, like, even there's inheritance tax, like in Africa, there's nothing like inheritance. If my father, God forbid, but
Somebody's father. If somebody's father
passes away, everything that maybe he has willed to come to me, I get everything like 100%.
Yeah.
But here in the UK, you pay 40% to the government.
God, I beg.
40%. So nobody in the UK is meant to be too rich. If you are too rich, it means that you are doing, we are circumventing some, of these laws,
and
which, like I explained,
if
that
you are
need to
even
understand very well.
the more you earn, the more you are enriching the pocket of the government as well.
Exactly.
Because if you say, okay, if you are even on a type of visa that allows you work some more hours, those more hours too is taxed. So the more you earn, basically, the more you're taxed.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, when I think about tax, it always give me a headache.
I wanted us to talk about like working two jobs as well.
Don't worry, we'll put that in
Another,
another this thing,
yeah.
another podcast episode. But yeah, it's been really nice to share insights and honestly, like, budgeting is so important, so important. I can't stress the importance, because you would see people that have been here for 3-4 years and they still don't have tangible savings. But yeah, it's yeah, no, it's because of the
Yeah.
situation. And bear in mind, as immigrants here, we after certain years you need to renew your visa or update your visa or whatever. There are visa changes. All these things, there are things that take your money, where if you were a citizen you wouldn't be spending on these things. So it's always important to be on top of your finances, basically.
Yeah,
And
true.
make sure, at least, if you can't follow the 50-30-20 rule, or use it as a guide. But me, I definitely agree with the having 3 to 6 months of your savings as your safety net, of your monthly expenses as your safety net. Like, I always aim for that, basically. And then once you have that, you can always use the remaining money for like investment, or like something. So yeah, it's very, very important. And if you can, like, share your personal budgeting tips that has worked for you in this country. I even want to hear from, like, families, because
Because me, I'm still learning. I don't know.
oh yes, now learning never ends. Now,
Yeah,
like,
those
as you go,
people
you
are
uncover
good.
stuff.
You should show us the
So
way.
I want to even hear from families, like husbands, wives, how you people cater for. I mean, yeah, you probably won't pay school fees and stuff like that, but at the same time, expenses, your kids want to go out or whatever, whatever. So how do you guys do your budgeting monthly? What are your experiences? How do you save money?
Hmm.
And
I
yeah,
feel like next
just
time we should bring like a guest to also share their
yeah.
experience,
So
share more tips.
yeah, just share your tips and tricks that has worked for you in the comments, and on our YouTube, on our Instagram as well. Samare Podcast. We're looking forward to it. And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for tuning into today's podcast
Thank you
episode, and
guys.
we'll see you in the next one. Have a good week. Bye.